these tools that can tell you exactly what's happening, but people aren't using them.
It's all about visibility, right? And if you're not visible in the marketplace, then you're going to get forgotten.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Built to Sell It. I'm out here in Las Vegas shooting a podcast with my friend here, Aoife Roche, straight from Ireland. Been in America for about 4 years, 5 years now. You might know her as the AI queen. She actually had that name patented. She helps companies grow through marketing with AI. So she's a marketing company, you could say, but you're very heavily into AI. Thank you for coming. Well, you live in Vegas, but thank you for coming on the podcast here. Thank you for coming here. I appreciate it. Tell everybody who you are real fast as we jump into this.
So my name is Aoife Roche, like you said, and I came from Ireland at the end of 2021, launched my first company here at the end of 2021, and then have moved forward to launch an AEO and SEO agency and an AI avatar agency as well. So anything that I can do to help people to integrate AI into their business is where I spend a lot of my time.
So we're going to talk about marketing today, but I want to talk to you because I got to know you over the last 6 months, 5 months. Very nice person. Got probably the most beautiful boyfriend I think I've ever seen in my life. What's his name again?
Rico.
Rico, yeah. Rico Suave. Rico. He doesn't have to do much but look good, huh? He doesn't look that good. But all joking aside, we were at dinner. We're probably about a month ago now. We went to dinner. And we were just talking about business. And, you know, you got screwed over from your first business where you actually grew it. You thought you had a partner. You guys were growing well. And the rug just got pulled out of you. I mean, you built the whole company. I mean, you're a straight hustler. Everywhere I go, I see you. You came on the scene, you start taking the scene over. So I always like hustlers. I told you that at dinner when we were talking. Like I think a lot of people don't give a lot of credit to people that hustle. I think like, oh, you have to be really, really smart. I'm like, you probably just got to hustle a little bit. Talk to us about that experience and what happened there. I know you can't say his name, I'm sure, for legal reasons, but like, kind of give me your take on what happened for people listening so you don't get screwed. You really make sure your paperwork's in order.
For sure. And I think that was probably the biggest mistake that I made. Especially when you're starting out in the beginning, you can kind of be penny wise and pound foolish and think you're going to bootstrap stuff and that you don't need all of the checks and balances in place. And that really came back to bite me in the ass. So like I said, I built a company, built a brand, built a reputation, spoke all over the country about the brand. And then when it came to a point where I needed to raise capital, I found out from a legal perspective, I didn't actually own anything that I had built. It had actually been put into a different company. So I was faced with quite a big challenge at that point, whether or not to actually continue going with the partnership where I didn't feel it was an equal partnership, or shut the whole thing down and restart again. And because of I knew I couldn't grow the company because I didn't have the capital. I wasn't in a position where I could raise capital because I didn't have ownership to be able to raise capital. So then what I did is I showed.
What did they say to you? What did the guy say to you? I'm just curious. Like,
he said, I told you, which to be fair, like I remember the conversation when he told me about how it was going to be structured, but I didn't have the business acumen at that time with how companies were structured to know what that really meant. So yeah, that was.
So he actually told you weren't going to own the company without telling you.
So he said there's going to be an unrestricted license.
Oh, yeah, that means you don't own anything.
Exactly, right? So I should have checked that with attorneys. I should have had, but that wasn't documented anywhere. I had company documents to say we own the company. It was that the IP was placed elsewhere.
Wow. I mean, so he had IP, he had his IP in the IP company, had a corporation with you, and he gave you guys an unrestricted license for your company that you were building, and then he was feeding the money. So if you ever left, he knew he had the IP, and you wouldn't have the IP, you'd have nothing.
Yep. That's kind of what happened.
Sounds like an awesome deal. Sounds like a really good guy. Yeah, don't call me. So let's talk about this. I always say that marketing is the biggest engine to any business. As you know, I used to own a digital agency. I sold to a private equity firm. One of the largest ones in the country. And so many people will take their marketing serious. So many owners, they don't look underneath the hood. They don't want to try and figure it out. Can you talk about that? Like, now that you're, because you are in the space, why do you think owners don't look underneath the goddamn hood of the car?
Well, because they look at marketing as an expense, not an investment. That's one of the biggest challenges that I see. And when people, a lot of times you see companies, they think, especially I see in the service-based industry, a lot of businesses are built on referrals, right? And
I disagree with you. I think the ones that are legacies are.
okay, yeah, correct.
I think all these new people, right? And everybody wants to be the blue collar millionaire now, right? There's so much hype. Everybody wants to be the next Lance Bachmann. Everyone wants to be the next Tommy Mello. That's all I hear, man. I'm gonna be you, Lance. I'm like, doing this 30 years. You guys have no clue how hard it is, but I wish you the luck, and I hope you get what you want. I actually think marketing is your biggest investment in home service. And I think it should be the thing that you take the most serious.
For sure, because it's all about visibility, right? And if you're not visible in the marketplace, then you're going to get forgotten. And now we're looking at the touch points between 7 to 10 touch points before customers are making a decision. So you're like, are they seeing you on social media? Are you ranking on Google? Are you being found on the LLMs? Are you doing video marketing? Are you building trust indicators with video with your team so that we can have the personalization? And a lot of companies are looking at that. One, they get overwhelmed by the sheer volume of what needs to be done, but then they can also get a lot of bad advice. I talk to so many companies who've invested heavily in Facebook ads, and they're like, well, we didn't get any ROI. And I said, okay, well, how is the system set up in the background for your marketing? Do you have a CRM? What's your follow-up sequence?
Nah, people don't have that stuff. Majority of people don't. Listen, I know. I owned an agency.
Yeah, for sure. And then when the marketing doesn't work, it's very easy to try to blame the marketing agency. Whereas when we come in and look at a business now, I look at the business holistically. I'm like looking at it from end to end, because it doesn't matter how good my marketing is. If we're not set up for success at the foundation to actually take it from the lead to the actual close, then it's not going to work.
The majority of companies aren't set up that way.
No.
I mean, what's funny is, I'll tell you a funny story, right? And you'll laugh at this. I really want to get into the marketing piece, because I think it's important for AI and how much it's transforming, and chat GPT, right? But probably like 10 years ago, one of my bigger customers asked me to come out and see him. I owned one SEO. And this is when I saw the results. Like, this guy's going to spend more money with me. He's going to love me. Like, the results were off the hook. This guy went from like 5 million to 15 million. Like, it's 5 years of my customer, right? Just grew, great growth, right? So I walk in, thought it was going to be a great meeting. I have all of his reports ready. And he's like, listen, we're going to terminate you today.
Oh.
I was like, well, why are you terminating me? He's like, well, the marketing is not working. I'm like, what do you mean the marketing is not working? Look at all your leads, look at all your stuff and where it's coming from. He didn't track nothing. He had no clue where his leads were coming from. His receptionist, which was terrible, his CSR, which was his wife, she goes, she's not wrong, she's not wrong. I said, she manually put in a drop-down box where everybody came from. And the number one source was referral. Number 2 was television. Number 3 was radio. Digital marketing and social media were the last 2 things, right? Email marketing was there, right? So I said, do you mind if I look at her sheet and how it drops down? So there was nothing for SEO, nothing for PPC, nothing for social media. He had direct mail, television, radio, all above. So his referrals were number 1. Television was number 2. He hasn't run a television ad in 5 years. He didn't run a television ad in 5 years. 5 years. That was his number 2 referral. His wife was just clicking the quickest box.
Yeah.
And we went and we started listening to phone calls on PPC and SEO, and people saying, oh, I found you online, but yet there was no online lead form filled out, meaning by his wife. And that's why I don't trust anything that has human element. Can you talk about tracking and the human element versus now if you're on a Service Titan, you're on Zero, Rilla, all these tools that can tell you exactly what's happening, but people aren't using them. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so I think I did a video on this actually 2 days ago where I talked about the data set, right? The data set that we're using to drive our decisions. So that's a perfect example. The data set is wrong, right? If someone is coming in and marking everything as a referral, well, then of course that's not actually going to work. So when it comes to, and there's a couple of aspects to what you talked about there, which are very, very important, especially when it comes to AI. First of all, is the tracking and the managing of the leads. Those leads absolutely have to be going into a centralized location, whether it's Service Titan, Go High Level, Job Nimbus, whatever. They have to be going into a centralized location where we can track and measure them. The reason being is we want to know, when did the lead come in? How long has it been sitting there? How many times do people try to contact them? And is there any pattern? So, for example, if we see 5 coming in for a particular area, was that area hit by a storm? Did something happen? If you're only using email or spreadsheets, it's very, very difficult to be able to mine that data. It's virtually impossible.
I don't even know how you manage it this day and age. It's costing you more money. People think they're saving money by using that shit. It's costing you more money, time, and effort than you could ever pay for a CRM at this point.
And then when it goes to the sales team, like if you're not tracking when the lead comes in and how many people contact the lead and how many times we followed up and whether they closed, and if they didn't go with us and they went with a competitor, why? Because that's also very important. We want to know why. Was our pricing wrong? Did we not reach out in time? But if you're not tracking and measuring that, there's no way. And then you can't actually really measure your sales performance, right? Because like we run ads right now with AI avatars. So one of the businesses I have, they get about 100 leads a month right now with our AI avatars. Their sales team's appetite to chase up on leads is kind of minimal because they know they're going to keep coming.
Yeah.
But if we're not able to measure how many times they're being followed up on, then we can't measure the sales performance and say, oh, the lead was bad. Well, actually, was the lead a good lead, but you just didn't follow up because you went off tracking the next guy.
Well, I mean, all salespeople are going to go, I call it, they don't love the one they're with. They're always going for the next lead. They're going for the next lead. I'm like, the majority of people don't follow up. I mean, with automation these days where it's just sets, the hard part is setting it up. I tell you that. It is a big lift. It is like, you have to map it all out. You have to write what you want done to happen, trigger points, and you have to have video content, and you have PDFs or whatever it is that your funnel is. But once it's set up,
it's machine
set up.
Yeah.
And I say it to everyone, I'm like, once it's set up, and I own multiple companies, as you know, and we have funnels set up for every company. Yeah. And it probably takes me realistically, not shooting the content, because that's different, but to actually set the funnels up and have it built out, probably honestly 2-3 days per company. And we look at the funnels once every 6 months, make sure it has to be tweaked, it has to be changed.
That's it.
You know, I'm not gonna sit there and lie to people and say we do it every single month, and we look at our metrics every month, but we're not looking at the funnels every month and saying what funnel worked better. And some people do it every single month, and you probably should. Just we keep growing so fast, I gotta fight the fights that are worth fighting.
The other thing that you mentioned that I think is very important is also around the calls, right? So AI voice, right? Everyone's running to AI voice now and they're putting in AI voice. AI voice works when it's trained on a data set that is reliable for your business.
100%.
Right? And then people are I spoke to one guy, he was like, I lost $80,000 in deals with this BS AI bot that they put in. I was like, well, what data set did we train on? Did you have any of your recorded sales calls? Did we create something in the background that our voice bot could be trained to actually sound like our sales team? And he looked at me like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People buy things. Everyone's looking for the next shiny object. You know, I'm here at IRE right now. And have you been over there yet?
I went over there yesterday. I'll probably go over again this afternoon.
It was actually a pretty nice shop. So I was surprised how, as it was really nice. A lot of nice people are there. But you see everyone chasing the next shiny thing.
For sure.
And I started laughing. I'm like, instead of executing on what you do have, you're still chasing the next shiny bullet. And I think that's the biggest reason why people don't have success with marketing, especially contractors, because they don't want to put in the work. We had a guy that was in our group, right? And we asked him to leave. We said, you know, you're probably not a fit for us. He thought we were going to build out his whole entire accounting, his whole entire marketing. I'm like, what? Like, are you crazy? Like, this is your company. No one's going to build it for you. And I say the average company, and you know what? I wonder if we could chat GBT it and find out here. Let's just see here. I wonder what the average company, how many digital marketing agencies they go through.
Oh, I'd say it's a lot.
I'm just curious.
But to your point on that, so
let's look it up real fast. Hold on a second. What is the average amount of digital marketing companies a home service business will go through in a 5-year period of time? Let's see here. Let's see here. Reality check. 2 to 4 vendors. 2 to 6. 2 to 6 different digital partners across 5 years. Do you know how insane that is?
But even
you know how insane that is? 2 to 6. These people don't have that many girlfriends in that amount of time. No, I mean, Jesus
Wait, but
Christ, you're right.
that's also such a valuable point, right? Because, you can have these 90-day contracts and then you can just get something working at the end of the night. Oh, it didn't work. And you're like, you don't plant a tree in the garden and then walk outside like 60 days later and expect it to be fully grown. These things take time to implement and to get working. And then to your point, I just want to address, so I wrote a book called Humans versus AI. And I built out a Queen framework. And the Queen framework is you have to quantify and qualify the business impact and align your marketing AI objectives to your strategic objectives. You have to understand the human capital within your organization. Are people even going to adopt what you're actually, like a perfect example? You're running a funnel, it's getting all the leads. The human goes, yeah, I'm just going to not make this work. And then you go on the E's, engineer the process, which is get the tech. Everyone is running to engineer the process. We're just going to buy the tech. And that's not the way to do it. Because
No.
if you don't understand the objectives and the human capital within your organization, it doesn't matter how good your tech is, because people aren't going to use it.
What are you seeing that, because there's a difference between SEO, PPC, can you explain to people the difference between marketing traditional, I don't want to call it traditional, and Jesus Lord, it's not, but SEO, PPC, email marketing versus now chat GPT. Like, I'll be very transparent. My coaching group is down here, right? I was like, I wanted to talk about sacrifice, suffering, and success and standards. It used to be called the 3 S's. I'm changing it to the 4 S's because I think you don't have a standard, you can't get there anyway, right? So, full transparency, I was on the plane. I knew I needed a presentation, and I went to ChatGPT, and I voiced exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
Told exactly, and it came back and it gave me a 12-page PowerPoint. I went through the bullet points and said, no, change this. And probably no lie, 10 minutes, my presentation was done. And it looked beautiful. I think you guys just dropped it right in the gamma and put the pictures in, I'm assuming, right?
Gamma.
Yeah, he just dropped it. So it made it look a lot nicer. It wasn't the most beautiful PowerPoint that he gave me at all. It was actually kind of blended. But now we're building out templates inside Gamma that will be put right in there, built to sell it, Lance Bachmann's podcast, all that stuff. And you just take the content, you put it in there. How long did it took Jacob to do that, do you think, probably? 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
It took him like maybe an hour or two.
Right.
He tried to go back in there. It doesn't spit it out perfect. You do have to.
You gotta do, yeah.
But once we build the templates out, it will be
It'll
done.
be easier.
It'll be easier.
From starting from scratch.
So a PowerPoint that used to take people 5 to 10 hours is less than an hour now.
Yep.
And the content's actually better.
I told him it looked good yesterday.
I thought it looked great. It was
It'll look good with you behind it.
It was one of our better presentations.
Yeah.
And that's an hour compared to where 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, look at the background now. I mean, look at that background.
Just a little bit of AI made it that much better.
Yeah.
I mean, so can you explain to the viewers what's the difference between like ChatGPT and how they can run their business better with that? How they can use actually real AI, because ChatGPT is not AI. Can you explain that? People think it is. It's a version of it, but it's not true machine learning AI it learns you, and it's great, but you can't install ChatGPT into your whole entire business and say, run my business the way same day AI does for your call center.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to do that for data privacy anyway, for
I know.
sure, right?
Yeah.
But the key, when we talk, so AEO is a very new concept, right? It was in Forbes. First real publication was in Forbes in April 2025, talking about the concept.
So not even a year old.
Yeah. So that's when people are like, oh, I'm an AEO expert. I'm like, really, we're like all at most like 6 to 9 months into this before we're actually working on it. So AEO, for anyone who's not familiar, is answer engine optimization, or it can be called GEO, which is generative engine optimization. And that basically means when we look at answer engine optimization as opposed to search engine optimization, are you answering my questions? Because when people go into ChatGPT now, they're asking questions and ChatGPT makes recommendations. So we're moving away from, well, not moving away, it's still important. They're equally important, but they have to be running in parallel. Instead of trying to rank for something, because we're in a problem now where we have the zero-click epidemic on Google, where 58% of search is not resulting in any click.
Why do you think that is? I think because they give you the information right there.
Yeah,
it's the AI overview. Correct.
Right? So then you're trying to control that narrative, because if you don't control that narrative, you will be controlled by that narrative.
Oh, yeah, you'll be fired.
So people have to invest now in making sure that we're building content that feeds that AI overview to give us a positive narrative. But it's a very big mindset shift for people to understand we're going from focusing on ranking to focusing on being recommended. And we're the way you get recommended is a lot of educational based content with trust indicators like citations, all of these kind of things.
Well, citations has been around for 15, 20 years. It's the biggest local ranking factor for the last 15 years. And SEO, it's search engines.
Because the AI is a lot of the websites right now are built for humans to read them, not AI comprehension, right? So it's like if the AI arrives on your website, how is your schema done? The background, all of the text stuff.
Tell people what schema is, because a lot of people are going to know what schema.org is.
So schema, yeah, would be the background HTML that helps, for example, the large language models navigate your site.
We'll get down to what it does is, just so you guys understand, schema is this: you put in what you want the search engines to read and understand about what your site is.
Yeah.
You got to break it down.
Yeah.
You got to, listen, you're very smart, but the issue is when people are listening, if you speak over, they're going to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's too much.
So you try and re-explain it to people, because I know what schema is very well. It's been around for probably 8, 9 years now.
Yeah, so I want you to imagine that there is I'm going to just use a bot that's searching your website in the background. It is reading lines of code, lines of text. And in order to be able to navigate that efficiently, that structure has to be set up in a way that's machine readable. So whether that's your local business schema, whether it's your frequently asked questions schema, whether it's your organizational schema. And I know that might go over a couple of people's head, but these are key things when people are building your websites or working on them that you now need to kind of say, hey, have you thought about this? Because a lot of times people are building the website, but they're not putting in the schemas. So I'm finalizing. And it's going to be available. It's going to be free. I'm not charging for it. A software right now where you're going to be able to put in your website, and it's going to come back and it's going to generate you a report of all of the issues when it comes to how ChatGPT and all the LLMs are looking at your website, similar to what people do for SEO right now.
Look at SEM Rush. Was just got acquired by who is the company this got acquired from out in Utah? SEM Rush just got bought for, I think it was $1 billion. Who did SEM Rush get bought? SEM. Did you know SEM Rush got sold?
No, I didn't.
SEM Rush.
No.
Adobe bought them.
Okay, yeah,
that.
yeah, they're really dominating. But when it comes to the AEO, you want to be ranking for the questions that people are asking for. SEO were like keywords, right? That's what everyone was doing. Keyword rich, your content had to be keyword rich. AEO, it's like, who is the best roofer in Fort Pierce? Who has the best roofing reviews? It's very much question based. So what we're working with the company, we're finding all of the prompts that we believe, because no one's publishing the search volume.
Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Service Titan and Rilla, our technology of choice to helping us scale and grow our business, and making sure all of our viewers have the technology to scale their business, so when they want to sell it, they're able to.
Right, for the prompts in the background.
Well, I don't think people are using ChatGPT for local search the way people are screaming they are.
So at the beginning of the year, because I was talking to one of the CTOs who has one of the monitoring, they said that they were at 1% at the beginning of the year. When I spoke to them in September, they were at 10% search volume.
I don't believe that. And this is why. Because I remember when Google came out, and a lot of people don't remember yellowpages.com. You're probably too young to remember yellowpages.com.
I remember it.
I do. And yellowpages.com and superpages.com and things like City Search and Ask Jeeves and Dogpile, Yahoo, believe it or not, that was powered by Google. Most people don't know that at the time. Kicked the shit out of Google for search and for local search. And people would go find their plumbers and HVAC companies on yellowpages.com. And Yellowbook, Google went to go buy Yellowbook from Joe Walsh. He missed the train on this one, this guy, but that's a whole different story. He didn't sell, so they came up with local search. And Google did a great job at it. And it just, in a matter of 2 years, probably just decimated all the phone books, everyone. And human behavior is very hard to change for search, right? People go to, Facebook is still the #1 platform out there. People don't realize that. Google makes over 90% of their money off of Google PPC. Facebook makes over 90% of their money off of advertising. Instagram is the 3rd largest. And I say this to people all the time, ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you want to call it, all those, they haven't monetized yet. Now, granted, people are like, well, they're charging you $20 a month or $300 a month, but a lot of people aren't paying that. They're using the free version,
The free version.
as you know. And how are they quantifying a question versus somebody truly searching? Meaning, roofer near me, Pennsylvania near me, pet store near me, AI queen near me, anything, right?
Yeah.
They're not releasing the data
No.
or the search volume.
No.
So you have no clue and you're flying blind. And I'm with you. I do agree you have to invest on making sure you come back recommended, I call it. I don't believe in rankings either on it. I believe that you come back recommended as a recommended source. But I also don't think they're getting that kind of search volume, because if they were, they would show it and they would want to start monetizing it to advertisers, because they're going to have to, right? If they really, I mean, how many people are going to subscribe to Gemini and ChatGPT, just the everyday person? How many? Well, I mean, business owners will.
Yeah.
But think about this. Does your mom live here in America? Or
No, they're all in Ireland.
does your mom own her own business?
No, well, they have a pub in Ireland, but yeah, but they're not ChatGPT savvy.
There you
right?
go. So
Yeah.
just think about that. They're not going to do it. Do you have children by any chance? I'm just trying to think. Like, how many of your
But my nephew, interesting, who's 7, had a big conversation with me about ChatGPT.
But does he have a paid version of it?
Oh no, I don't. I hope not.
But think about that.
Yeah.
Even my sons, who I forced technology down on, my 6 years old, my sons have all had iPhones since they're 2, 3 years old. Like, I'm the opposite of these people. Like, don't give your kid a phone. I'm like, give your kid technology. Box stores will not be around. I know we're going on a tangent here, but I don't believe you're going to see Walmarts 20 years from now. I just don't believe they're going to exist. I don't believe. I mean, look at the malls. The malls are all shitholes. They're becoming an apartment complex. Yeah, I mean, right? So, like, what makes you think Walmart's going to stand? Like that, why do you think you see all these superstores, right, selling gas? You're going to get gas, you're going to get your groceries, you're going to be out, right? Back to my point is, I just don't see people using ChatGPT right now. The average everyday American, every business owner I hear is using it because they're trying to figure it out. They know it's going that way, but they're not even using it the right way. The majority of them. How many people do you know actually know how to use ChatGPT the correct way?
No, and that's for sure. And I think we do overestimate, like a lot of people even on ChatGPT don't even know there's a menu if you click on the top left-hand corner. Like, that's a new concept. But I also think we also need to be thinking about future-proofing our business, because we are moving within our generation. And so how we do it, let's say, for example, so we track and monitor prompts, right, that we have, and then we track and monitor all of our competitors to see what they're ranking for. And then we'll reverse engineer if we see them showing up in search above us. But what that enables us to do, we can build content to meet that prompt, and then we can check what is our visibility and our ranking's the wrong word. Recommendations on that particular prompt. So then now you start, instead of owning keywords, you start to want to own prompts. And you own prompts by answering. Now, the challenge with a prompt can be written 10 different ways.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know what I mean? So it's like you could have best roofer, let's say, for peers, and then it could be best roofing company for peers.
There are 2 different queries.
Exactly. So
prompts, you call it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's starting to mine that data and then being able to track. Like we are able now to see where our competitors are, what's their level of visibility, where are they.
Are you doing this manual or is there a tool?
It's a tool.
What tool?
Oh, I can't do that.
I don't know. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell everybody the tool. Literally find the tool that does it. I mean, it's
well, there are several.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
so yeah, because telling the tool, because the tool.
I mean, you don't own the tool
for sure. So there's a couple of them, right? You have Peak AI, PEEC.ai is one. You have use Bear AI, which is another one. And then you have TriSite AI, which for me, those would be the top 3.
Let me give you some free information. Best piece of advice I ever got given from someone.
Tell me.
And it changed my whole entire career. About 15 years ago, I went to a conference, 17 years ago. And a guy by the name of Tor Black, he actually founded me the name of my first company. We paid $50,000 for the URL because of him. Tor Black said to me, I went to a conference, me and Jolene, and Tor Black was giving all this free information out to everyone, giving them what tools to use, what sites to use. I mean, I just sat there and took note after note after note after note after note after note. And I said, how is this guy going to ever make money? He's giving everything away for free. So I walked up to him after he was done speaking. I said, can I buy you lunch? And he's like, what? I said, can I buy you lunch? I said, anywhere you want to go, it's on me. I'll buy you lunch. Doesn't make any difference. I just want to talk to you. I'll buy you lunch wherever you want. He goes, I want to go to Subway. This guy's from Florida, like redneck. No offense to the people in Florida, I mean, but just imagine little short, pudgy, bald guy saying, I want to go to Subway. Well, I'm offering you to go anywhere you want. We went to Subway. Forget what he ordered. And I said, why do you give all your information out that's in your head, all your free information? He goes, why? He goes, because they're not going to use it.
Yeah.
I go, what? He goes, they're not going to use it. He goes, guess how many people have ever asked me to lunch just to talk to me after I got done talking? I said, I'm assuming every time you talk. Because you're the first one in 10 years.
Wow.
I said, what? I said, you just gave gems. Like, you were just crushing it. I said, look at all my notes. I already bought 3. It was like Spy Food at the time I bought for PPC. I bought SEM Rush Foam. I had no clue what that was. And like some other tool. Like 3 tools I knew I could build my business around. I was like, and he was showing us how to use it. And the other one was like Ninja Cat. Like it was a PPC tool, like Ninja whatever. And I took that. And when I started speaking in every podcast I do, I give all the information, just straight facts. And the people that use it, great. I'm happy for you. The people that don't, guess where they're going to go? They're going to come hire you.
Yeah, for sure. And I think
That's why I give the information away. Like, don't be afraid to say these are the tools, guys, because I know you think you have something that's like privileged. It's really not, because the search is going to give people what they want. And the people that are what's that called? Like the DIY or DII or DEI.
so.
Yeah.
DIYs.
Yeah, DIYs. I'm not a DEI guy. Like this, I'm not a DEI guy at all. It's not my personality. I'm not going to go DEI the wall. I'm not going to DEI the door. I'm not going to DEI right near you. Like, just not who I am. So what I will do is I'll go hire the people I trust. And that's where I think a lot of people, when they, especially you, because I think you're like second, third year in business now, change that right away, flip the script. Here's all the information. Now, if you want it done right, come see me. Because how many people actually hang a door the right way, do you think?
Yeah, I know. No, it's a fair point.
Why are you laughing?
Sure.
How many people actually hang the fucking door the right way? Like, it's not.
But even with and this is where we're kind of really working to build out these SOPs and processes, because these platforms monitor for you, right? But the monitoring is fine, but now what?
Well, you still gotta do the work. You gotta do the work.
And I spoke to them, and even the foundational work on the website and the content and the formatting and the schemas. I spoke to one of the guys from Peak.ai the day before yesterday, and I said, and we're doing this and this and this and this. And he was like, wow, like you guys are doing a lot. And they were like, yeah, we're just doing the monitoring, which is fine. But the monitoring alone is not going to give you the results.
Yeah, it's like a scale telling you're a weight. You're not doing anything about it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, you don't go and do any exercise, and you get on the scale again and you feel like it hasn't improved, Well,
it's not going to you. Listen, you got it. What are the top 5 things you think home service contractors should be doing, AI-wise, marketing-wise? What would you say, because listen, you got a nice little business. We talked your numbers. I'm not going to put them out there, but you got a nice business, a nice little. I'm proud to know you. I really like the biggest factor with you, and I really mean this, is you're a hustler. Like, you're a hustler, and I just love hustlers. I love, like, every conference I go to, you're there now, and I'm like, man, this woman. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to call you a girl, but this woman really gets it. Like, she understands the hustle. No one's just going to give it to you.
Yeah, and I think that, like, to speak to that point, because sometimes people say to me, why do you go so hard? I'm like, I arrived in a country, so it was always my dream to come to America. I was supposed to come in 2011, and then I got held back because the contract fell apart, because I was a consultant, right? People, they don't know, like Barclays, HSBC, Dell, Capgemini, you've done over 100 million in tech transformations. And then I left that. But when I came to America, I have no family here. I have all of my family in Ireland. I'm here by myself. So success is inevitable when failure is not an option, right? I'm like,
I like that. I love that. Success is inevitable when failure is not an option. I like that.
Because I burnt the boat. So I'm like, what's my alternative? Go back to Ireland, go back to London? I'm like, I didn't come this far just to go this far. So the grind and it's just the reps that have to be put in order to try to grow and scale something. Like, my attention grabbers agency is the bread and butter of me being here, because that's my investor visa in the States is actually based on that company. The reason the other 2 companies have been created is I want to build them, scale them, and sell them, right? Which is why, I love sitting down and us having these conversations. But as a female and I don't know female entrepreneur, but you know,
Didn't say that. Listen, you are. Listen,
Yeah.
I think. Listen, I'll be the first one to say I think female entrepreneurs have just as equal rights as men entrepreneurs. But I will say this: I do think it's a little tougher to make it as a female than a male. I think you have just as many rights. I don't buy into all that nonsense. But I do think, listen, especially in home services, it's a male-dominated
Yeah.
sport, and that's what you're in. Whether you're a digital marketing agency, AI agent, that's who your main customers are. And it's a male-dominated, so it has to. So you got to clearly be a step above. And I'll say that in front of a room of 1,000
Yeah.
people because that's just the reality of it.
And I think
And that's not right. I'm not saying it's right, but it's just
but it's
the
you
reality.
know, and we have to get real with reality. And I think it's also, you know, there's sometimes there's ways people approach you and try to do business with you. If it was a man on man, they wouldn't do that, right? You know,
I would hope not. Listen, I'm not a female, so I can't speak to that. But I would think from the day you met me, I've always tried to
sure.
treat you
Well, that's
like
what
I
I'm
do. Yeah, I mean, I always try to treat a woman the same way I treat a man. Whether you're working with me, whether you're my partner, whether you're on this podcast, you know, it's just I don't see race, color, or sex. I'm one of the few people that I think because of the where I think that Northeast quarter just doesn't see it as much as it. Like my sister tells me, "Oh my God, racism is really bad in the South." In the Northeast of Philadelphia, I don't even think racism's there because it's a melting pot. Makes sense. It's just like I've never seen I've seen people say dumb shit, but I've never seen true racism where people are burning shit and fighting and screaming good. I've never seen true sexism where people are like, "Hey, we're not hiring her because she's a female." Ever. Never seen it. And I was vice president of AT&T, and I've never seen someone say it. But I know it exists. I'm not naive. So I do feel bad.
Well, I
I'm
think
sure you see it from a different angle because you're the one dealing with it.
Well, I think, you know, you've got to be very confident in how you show up, very professional in how you show up, and know that you may have to work a little bit harder to get your spot at the table. But I've always found, like when I was in Barclays, I had a team of 27 guys, and I was the main lead. But
But that's tough. Because I
Yeah.
own companies, and a lot of my women,
Yeah.
a lot of my leaders are women.
Yeah.
Like you see Jolene, Kelly, Alicia, like Kerry, like almost my whole leadership team besides Bill and Mike are women, ain't it? Yeah, my whole leadership team across the country is women for the most part. And I see what they deal with sometimes, dealing with men from off the street, not inside of my organization. When men, I'm like, yeah, did you just talk to her that way? And I'm like, you can't say that. I'm sure you deal with that stuff,
Oh, for-
especially when you manage 26 men.
Yeah, for sure. And that was actually one of the reasons, not to speak ill of my corporate career, because I spent 10 years building that. But when I got, and then I was on fast track for director, and then I was going to be moved to the C-suite. And I looked at it, and I just felt like it was a constant grind to be recognized as the leader, you know, because there was big egos in the room, right? And you're trying to
That's a shame because I think women are better leaders than men overall. And I say it, and people are like, "Oh my God, Lance, that's so rude." I'm like, listen, the women in my life, business-wise, have been the most loyal people, besides Bill Rizzo, who's been with me for 22 years. So kudos to him. He's my CEO. But sometimes I tell him he's a little bit like a woman. But I shouldn't say that, right, Neri? I mean, he's, you know, but he's a sensitive guy. He's a good guy. He's a good man. I'm not saying that other men aren't, but the women have been with me for years, and they've been loyal, and they go through the trenches. And I don't know. I just think for me, if it comes down to, and I don't look at sex at all when I'm making a decision, but I look at my leadership team, I look at how they all got there. They earned it.
Yep.
There was never a spot given to them. Bill earned his job. Mike Shelley earned his job. But Kelly, Jolene, Alicia, Kerry, what other women leaders do we have? Danielle,
And Mercy.
and Mercy. Like, they're strong, confident. They get the job done. They execute.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think that is, and you know, I don't want to like put it as an either or, but as women, we're kind of innate problem solvers as well. And the more
100%.
we're able, you
100%.
Rico says, he says, sometimes I don't want to tell you things because I know you're going to be out trying to problem, and now not to execute on but solution orientated, right? And we're able to focus on a lot of different things and balance a lot of different things. I call it, it's polyphasic thinking. Because you see women, they're out there, they're bringing the kids to school, they're running the business,
Absolutely.
they're doing all of these different things. So women in leadership, I think that we have there's a way that we can deal with kind of crisis situations and people and have that EQ. That I'm not saying men don't have it, but I think as women, it's more innate that we are slightly more emotionally intelligent with regard to how the business is operating and how people in the business are operating.
You won't get an argument out of me. What are the top 5 things that contractors, home service-based business need? Tell them right now. Spit it out.
Well, the first one that in this economy, in the attention economy, is speed to lead, right? That's number one. You've got to
I like that answer.
Yeah, you've got to figure out how you can automate your process so that you can get to the lead in the least amount of time. If someone submits a form on your website or whatever, they should be getting a text acknowledgement and an email acknowledgement immediately.
100%.
Right? For so speed to lead, because at the end of the day, sales drive everything, right? If we have sales, we have
The high-level service Titan, all these platforms do this.
exactly.
Same-day AI. I mean, it's just that simple.
So then the next thing that we have to focus on is our visibility, right? And there's going to be 2 parts to that. One with your Facebook and Instagram visibility, because people need to see you. They buy from people who they know, like, and trust. Now, and in the age of AI, that can be you. It can be an AI influencer. It can be an avatar, however you want that to be
What
done.
about social media? I mean, I built all my companies just off of my social media.
Yep.
A guy walked up to me yesterday. He said, "Lance, you better crack 100,000 followers on Instagram." I didn't even know.
Fantastic.
But I didn't even know. I went and checked. And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "I don't check. Yeah, I don't look at that metric." Yeah, I'm at 99.6. Right. But then again, I posted over 5,300 times.
See? Yeah. You're consistent and you show up with the marketing message that you have, the way that you're talking. And then it's the likability factor, the know, like, and trust. People want to do business with people who they know, like, and trust. And like what Brad was talking about downstairs, personal brand is very, very valuable asset.
It's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
My personal brand is bigger than any one of my companies. Like, I truly believe that, like, with all my heart. And that's why I don't do certain things, because it will destroy your personal brand.
Sure.
And I'm human and I make mistakes, but you're going to have to really make sure that you don't hurt that brand. Like, and when I say that, I mean, like, the minute you don't pay someone your own money, your brand's done.
Yeah.
The minute you like, I don't use a Ponzi scheme. There's so many things out there when you're doing business, but I don't have an M&A team, right? I don't have, all the deal flow comes directly through people following me. Like, you saw a packed room down there.
Yeah. For sure.
There's going to be 80 people here tomorrow for the mastermind, right? Sold out. It's been sold out. Our April one's almost halfway sold out already, almost 3/4.
So we're looking at July.
Yeah, we're looking at July. I was talking about last night. We got to start selling for July because April's almost done. And I'm like, people don't understand, like, that's all for my personal brand. But I've been consistent. I never look at the metrics. He knows that. Do I ever look at the metrics or comments? Ever. People are like, "Well, what about this video or this comment or this?" I'm like, I don't look.
Yeah.
Produce the content you want to produce and let the chips lay where they like.
Yeah. Become a creator, not a consumer.
Yeah. I mean, it's just this, like you either want my brand and you want what I have to say, or don't. Both answers are correct.
Yeah.
Like, both answers are correct. I'm doing this for me.
So that's the second thing when we talk about social media, building a personal brand, and video, right? Because video drives everything.
I think video is the biggest thing that helped me.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not the best looking guy in the world. I'm not the best speaker, but I think when people see you're real and you're authentic and you are who you are, I think they're like, okay.
When people say to me, "Oh, I'm not confident to go on video," confidence comes from competence. Competence comes from execution. So if you want to become more confident, execute more.
100%. Take your reps, like you said.
Exactly.
Keep doing your reps and you'll be fine with it.
And then a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to," I'm just starting your stories. Just go on your story, picking up your phone, chat in your stories. Do that for a month, get a little bit more comfortable, and then you can put something on your
We're
feed.
doing right now. A little story. Let's go. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, come on. See, guys, it's this easy. Like, I'm sitting here, not with FIFA, with Aoife, right?
Hello, everyone.
Right? You're shooting the AI queen. She's in there dropping bombs out in Bradley's studio. He's letting me use today to shoot some content. She's crushing it. Let's give her a big shout out. Let's follow. If you ain't following her on social media about AI, you're missing the boat. See, just like that, people, it ain't that hard.
Yep. And then now with social media, then we talk about what we've already addressed, the idea of it's not about ranking, it's about recommendations.
Okay.
So making
But how do you break through that, some of that? Because people, these business owners, they don't want to hear that shit. They want to see rankings. They want to see clicks. They want to see phone calls. How do you get through that?
But that's the shift in the mindset, right? It's to say, you can continue to focus on ranking for keywords and doing all of that, but don't then be upset in 12 to 24 months when other companies are getting more favorable recommendations because they put the investment into it. Like the AEO right now is like Google 2005. I say, if you got on Google in 2005 and were active with your SEO for the last 20 years, where would you be in 20 years? So people who are looking for this instant, I want to be recommended right now, it doesn't work like that.
No. But
Like,
Google didn't work that way back then either.
exactly. But so like managing their expectations, but no, there's a core focus on building out, getting recommendations. So managing their business profile. The Google's business profile is another one that I see. Like uploading your jobs, uploading your pictures, asking customers for reviews, making sure that you're in all of your different local directories, doing citations like we already talked about. Though there's a compound effect of many different variables. So like social media, SEO, AEO, video marketing, and then obviously speed to lead with your CRM. And if we were to map that out, it's like 5 kind of core components. And maybe I'll put it on a slide when I'm talking to
You should.
and be like, listen, I want you to give yourself a score out of 10 with each of these components, and then which ones do we need to work on? And it's not that you have to do everything at the same time, but you do have to do all of them. They have to be done if you want to grow. And especially when it comes to PE as well, because they're going to look at that. What is
They go through it. I'm gonna tell you right now, they know every data set, every data point. Like people, we have a gentleman downstairs, he fell out of 2 LOIs, and I told him last night, I said, you might not want to keep your company up because these guys are all the same people, they know each other. And he's like, I can't believe I keep falling out of why. And I'm like, guys, they know everything. When they're handing you a check, whether it's for 10 million, 8 million, 20 million, 35 million, it's a lot of money. And I always tell people, when someone's handing someone a check for 20 bucks, 100 bucks, 500, you might not dig as deep. Anyone handing someone a check for $100,000 plus, you start digging. You start looking, right? 50,000, you start digging.
Yeah.
Well, just adding those stakes up by, I'm going to give you $10 million. They're going through everything.
Everything.
And their job, and the PE firms will tell you this, their job, truthfully, is to find a reason not to buy your company.
Yep.
Right? That's their job. Find a reason not to buy your company because they can't take the risk of something going wrong. They just can't. So people ask me, like, why is due diligence so stressful? Why is there so many data points? Why is it so long? I'm like, because their job is to ask you the same question 500 different ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if they get a different answer, they're out.
For sure. And then like they're looking at automated lead generation.
All that stuff. All that stuff.
If the business is based on we're driving in all of these referrals, then if you walk out of the business, so do the referrals, right? So that's not really, a business. You want to be like, and I'm not taking away from referral business because that's very, very
It's great as long as the referrals are ringing to the main phone number and it's not ringing to the owner's cell phone.
Exactly. And then that you have an infrastructure that even if the referrals if the business owner left and, it's heavily branded around the business owner or that brand, that if the business owner left, that we have our other systems, like Brad was addressing it downstairs, what are our other lead generation systems
100%.
that are sitting there, whether that's Facebook ads, whether it's, like you say, PPC, Google ads, whether that's social media content, whether that's a podcast. There has to be other funnels of ways that you're attracting attention outside of just referrals.
Last question for you. I appreciate your time. Sorry it takes so much up. What's next for you?
What's next for me? So obviously the AEO company and the Avatar company, the reason I've created those as their own individual companies is I want to build them to sell them. So that's going this year, over the next 12 to 24 months, is going to be a core focus on building these. It's new territory for me to build it. And then I would like to get those to the point, get them and sell them. And then I would like to kind of go back to what I used to do a little bit more, taking a lot more strategic roles, doing a lot more AI consulting, like I've written the book and doing all of that, and doing a lot more strategic rather than right now I'm in the weeds all the time.
Yeah.
I would like to, I used to in the corporate like deal with, $30, $40 million budgets, right? I wasn't like penny pinching to figure out how, people were going to get paid. So I would like to build these companies, grow them, sell them, learn about it, and then really put a heavy focus on AI consulting and take more strategic roles.
How do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about AI?
Yeah, so probably like for a lot of service based, you can follow me on Instagram, which is Aoife. That's Aoife J Roche, which
We'll
is
put the handle off.
yeah, exactly. Make it easy. Or you can just search if you search AI Queen on Google. That's kind of starting to rank now. LinkedIn is another big platform for me. I do a lot on LinkedIn. So yeah, and my name is kind of unique here in the States, so I'm not really not that difficult to find, to be honest.
And what do you think of the roofing conference?
Loved it. So that was the first kind of entry point for the first conference that I did. So you set the bar pretty high
Yeah.
for everyone, which was great. So I loved the fact that there was so much diversity in the speakers, and there was, some people were speaking on mindset, some people speaking on PE, some people were more tactical on AI focus. So I think you give a very well-rounded conference, and the audience was super engaged, right? Because you put a heavy focus on the dinners and the community feel where people were networking, connecting. So it didn't feel, you know, you go to some conference, you just feel like you're sold to all day long. You're exhausted. I didn't come out of that conference feeling like that. We came out feeling energized and built a lot of new connections. So anyone who hasn't signed up to go to the conference, I think it is a game changer with regard to the learning and the holistic approach to the learning that you're going to get.
Love it. Well, am I missing anything here?
Well, that was it. We just want to say thank you for sponsoring.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Hope you come back this year.
Intleacht AI shout out.
There you go. All right.
Appreciate you.
Follow her on social media. Trust me, everyone. She's good.